I know you've all been wondering what this meeting's about. I have to say, young ladies, you are very courageous because nobody on the faculty or staff asked me what it was about. But I must have had at least 40 girls email me or stop me in the corridor or ask me in class what it was about. So I would say, the world better be ready for you because you are women that are not fearful. Thank you. The Easter Gospel that Kayla just read reminds us that as humans, we like certainty and we fear any changes. For the women in the Gospel, meeting the angel at the empty tomb and later the risen Jesus caused them to become fearful. Suddenly, everything they thought they knew about life and about death was torn apart, and they were being asked to share that unbelievable message with the disciples. Yet for them to see Jesus alive made their hearts beat fast with joy. How many of you have felt at times fearful and overjoyed at the same time? Raise your hand. Right. Those of you that have made a Kairos retreat, did you have moments there where you felt both fear and joy? Right. That's a challenging time. Right now, as I stand before you, I feel just like the women did on that Easter morning. Right now, my heart is pounding, and I am filled with a little bit of fear because of the message that I'm about to share with you. But at the same time, I feel great joy because my message is one of life, opportunity, and growth for all of us. Let's begin with a little review of history. I know. Those cows on Telka, really. None of us were here to see it, even though my mountaintop is white, I wasn't here. In 1900, the first Sisters of the Resurrection came to Chicago. They came with a simple vision and dream to serve God and His people in whatever ways God would direct them. In 1914, Sister Ann and the First Sisters bought several farms on Talcott Avenue. Soon people from the neighboring communities came to the sisters asking, please build us a school, please build us a hospital, please build us a retirement home, and then a nursing home. And the sisters always worked hard and found a way to provide what people needed. The dreams of the people became our dreams and the focus of our prayers and of our work. Then the sisters worked the farm, growing vegetables and caring for chickens and cows. And they sold their produce to raise the money needed to build the first school. The first Resurrection High School opened in 1922. By the late 1950s, a bigger school was needed. So the school we are in now was built. In 1962, when the first freshmen started classes in this building, believe it or not, I was among them. I sat where you are sitting now, in this very gym. And it was in this high school chapel that I felt the call to become a Resurrection Sister. My mom and 7 other relatives graduated from Res. So Res is very, very special to me. But what was very different back in 1962 was that there were over 230 Resurrection Sisters in the Chicago region. 230. These sisters served in Illinois and 5 other states, as well as Vancouver, Canada. Today, as you sit here, there are only 24 Sisters of the Resurrection in the same province or region. And our median age is 75. This school is the last ministry we own in this region. Realizing the importance of our ministries to the people on the northwest side of Chicago, we searched diligently to find other religious congregations or organizations to take over and care for our ministries and to give them the same love and commitment that we had given them all these years. We found a home for our hospital, retirement center, and nursing homes with Ascension Health, and that is proving to be a very good thing. This high school is our oldest ministry in the United States. During its almost 98 years of history, more than 105 Sisters of the Resurrection committed their lives to serving as teachers, administrators, etc. at Resurrection College Prep. Our love and commitment to Resurrection, its staff, and most of all to you, the students, runs deeply in our veins and in our heart. 3 years ago, we realized that because there are so few of us, we needed to find someone else to take care of our school, your school. The sisters, the board, and I could not imagine closing Resurrection. I don't think you could either, could you? No. Right. You amazing young women are the reason we began a 3-year search to find some religious order to take over the ownership and sponsorship of this school. During this 3-year period, I contacted religious orders in the Chicago area, Indiana, Michigan, Tennessee, Ohio, Wisconsin, as well as national educational organizations and even a university. But I felt like St. Joseph with Mary on the donkey, nobody had room for us. So no one could help us. And every day I'd come here and I'd see all of your faces and hear you say how much you love Resurrection. Well, we had to do something. I don't know if you realize it, young women, but you are very inspiring, and you gave us the drive to keep searching. So then in the spring of 2018, the door opened, and we began a dialogue with the Christian Brothers of the Midwest. After meetings and conversations with the Christian Brothers, we became convinced that we could not find a better prepared congregation to take over the sponsorship and operations of Resurrection College Prep High School. The Christian Brothers, now listen to these numbers real well. The Christian Brothers have over 300 years of experience in education. Now, when you meet them, you'll know that they aren't the personal ones that we're teaching, but they're predecessors. The Christian Brothers are responsible for 65 universities and 1,000 other schools across the world. That's a lot. In the Midwest of the United States, they have a strong presence as well and are well known for their commitment to quality education and faith development for their students. In the Chicago area, the Christian Brothers sponsors St. Patrick High School, which we know well, De La Salle Institute, St. Joseph High School in Westchester, and Montini Catholic High School in Lombard. Lasallian high schools in the Midwest also include in St. Louis, Memphis, Minneapolis, St. Paul, Tulsa, and Cincinnati. In all of these Midwest schools total, there are over 24,000 students, and they are served and supported by 4,000 faculty and staff members. That's a lot of experience, isn't it? Now that I have gotten to know the Christian Brothers and their strong commitment to education, I am very impressed with their work, and I trust them. Like the women at the empty tomb, I feel great joy. This is a time of grace and transformation for all of us. For us sisters, yes, we are feeling sad at having to let go of something we have loved, but it is also a time of great joy, because we know that we can leave this school, all of you students, faculty, and staff, in the care of a religious congregation that will not only care for you, but who will grow Resurrection into greatness as time goes on. The Christian Brothers' worldwide experience will be wonderful as a resource for all of you. The Christian Brothers are committed to taking over the sponsorship and ownership of Resurrection High School, to operate the single-gender girls' school. Can I repeat that? Single-gender girls' school. As a Lasallian school with a Resurrection heritage that continues to be recognizable to the almost 15,000 alumni. And some of them are here, right? We'll almost our alums pretty soon. The intent of the Christian Brothers is to begin sponsorship or management of Resurrection in August this year. And we sisters, I want you to know, are overjoyed because This gives us a chance to continue your education and the education of all those who follow you. And we are deeply grateful to the Christian Brothers, because as you can see, they have a lot already. So they're taking on more by doing this for us, for you. And they're excited about it. And that's good too, isn't it? You want somebody to be excited about you. Well, after they meet you, who wouldn't be excited? The Christian Brothers and their leadership are wonderful, and they will provide you a good home. So once again, the good news, because you were asking me, is it good? And I said it was. The good news is that Resurrection is not closing. Resurrection is not merging with another school, but rather the Christian Brothers are welcoming Resurrection into their family, their Lasallian family. St. Paul, in his letter to the Corinthians, speaks of one person being called to plant the seed, another to water it, and still another to reap the harvest. But St. Paul goes on to say, all three are equal, and they're God's co-workers. In the end, it is God who causes all of our growth. This is what we celebrate today. God called the Sisters of the Resurrection to plant the seeds, and this was farmland, so that was perfect. And now God is calling the Christian Brothers to continue watering the seeds. But ultimately, this field, your hearts and souls, belong to God. So both the Resurrection Sisters and the Christian Brothers are humbly God's co-workers. This is his work, and he will bless it. So like the women at the empty tomb, we feel some sadness and fear. But like the women, we feel a lot more joy, peace, and hope for a wonderful future for Resurrection College Prep. We are all women of the resurrection, right? Yes. Okay. So if we are women of the resurrection, like Mary Magdalene and the other women, we open our hearts to look up and recognize the face of Christ calling us to new life. We're not going to stand and look at an empty tomb, right? We're going to look for the hope and the beauty of God's love. The God of charity and truth, which we all are committed to, right? Charity and truth is our motto. That God is with us and loves us always. So on behalf of all the sisters, let me assure you that the Sisters of the Resurrection will always be your BFF. Did I get that right? Text it right, okay. You taught me well. We will always be proud of you. We will always love you. We will always support you with our prayers. So now you have two families. Your grandparents, and you'll have new parents. And that will all be happening. It didn't happen yet, but it's in process, okay? Now I would like to ask my wonderful Sisters of the Resurrection to stand along with our board members, who I'm very proud to have here. Just, I want you to know who they are. Go ahead, stand if you can. They have been working with us for 3 years, and we appreciate all the love and wisdom and support that they have given, because it would not be possible without a strong, loving board and a wonderful group of sisters behind us that are constantly praying. So thank you all very much. I would now the mystery's unwinding more, I would like to invite Sister Virginia Ann Wanzek to join me. Sister is the Provincial Superior of the Sisters of the Resurrection here in the Chicago area, and she's got some introductions.
As Sister Dawn Marie said, all of us sisters hold this school, the staff, faculty, and students dearly to our hearts and our prayers. We are very pleased that we have found another congregation to carry on the work and tradition of this wonderful school. Working over the past year with the brothers, we have also come to respect and appreciate their commitment to education. So it is now my pleasure to introduce Brother Larry Schatz, the Provincial Superior of the Christian Brothers of the Midwest, and Dr. Scott Kier, the Superintendent of Lasallian Education.
Good morning, Resurrection.
Good morning.
I really appreciate being here, and I want to start by saying one thing. Let us remember that we are in the holy presence of God. I'll explain a little bit more about that in a couple of moments. I want to thank Sister Donna. As you can figure out, this was not easy for her to be the bearer of both news that in some ways changes a reality, but in another way really doesn't. And I am especially grateful that the Sisters of the Resurrection, and they're wonderful, many of our brothers also are in the Resurrection Retirement Community and Life Center, and they've gotten to know each other very well, that they are entrusting all of you to us. Because the sister said so well, around the world there are about 1 million young people, much like you, in all 80 countries, and all of them are part of this huge family that we call a Lasallian family. That's because we name it after John Baptist de La Salle. Some of you are probably wondering, what is a brother exactly? If you have a brother of your own at St. Patrick High School, you may have heard about Brother David, who's over there. Brothers are not priests. You notice my collar is a little different than a priest's collar. We are actually much more like sisters than we are like priests. We, brothers, live in community, are dedicated to education, run schools. And that's who we are. That's who we're founded to be. And that's why it's such a great fit to have Resurrection as part of our family. Just to give you an idea of what that means, yesterday, about this time, I was in Tulsa, Oklahoma, at Bishop Kelly High School. They had an all-school mass. The students from San Miguel were there, and I was talking to them about the founder, St. John Baptist de La Salle, and about being part of this larger reality. So they are kind of your cousins. They will become your cousins in the Lasallian world. Last fall, I was at De La Salle High School in Minneapolis, and I was invited into an early morning class at 7:30, and I was startled to realize that those students, many of them who spoke Spanish, were literally in communication with students in Valencia, Spain, from our school there. It was 3 o'clock in Spain. They were sharing a class on climate change, sharing projects. It really touched me because it shows that we talk about being all over the world, but when you can begin to connect with students all over the world who share this same reality, that's a very special thing. And that's part of, I think, what's so wonderful about the Lasallian world. So you will get to know this more and more. When I started with Let Us Remember We're in the Holy Presence of God, that is how every Lasallian ministry around the world begins prayer. We always end with live Jesus in our hearts, and everyone responds forever. I'm sharing that with you because those are sort of like it's what we share in common with Lasallians all over the world. And for our board and staff and faculty, John Baptist de La Salle said that you are entrusted with the young people given you your care. The greatest miracle you can perform is to touch the hearts of your students with the Christian spirit. It's the greatest miracle you can perform, and God expects that of you. So know that we take that charge very seriously. The Sisters of the Resurrection, who have been here almost 100 years at this very place, this is very holy ground, and we take that very seriously, have entrusted all of you to our care so we can share the joys and blessings of being Lasallian with you. So please know that for us this is a very special moment. We are delighted that we can continue this tradition, that this school, this great school that so many of you are part of, with so many wonderful young women, that it's testimony to that. Remember, most of the men that followed Jesus kind of disappeared when he was crucified and were nowhere to be seen. So I really credit women in Scripture, and especially all of you. I can see that you are very attached to this place, and we look forward to getting to know you. So I'm going to turn this over to Dr. Scott Kier. Dr. Kier is our Superintendent of Lasallian Education. So he's responsible directly for our schools, and he's going to talk a little bit about why there's such a good fit between between our Lasallian charism and the resurrection charism. Scott.
Thank you, Brother Larry. About 3 years ago, I came to this building to meet with Sister Donna Marie. We had received a letter that she sent to Brother Larry asking, would we be interested in, running or supporting or operating a resurrection? At that time, we really didn't have the capacity to do anything. What a difference 3 years it makes that we're here today. So, Sister Donna, thank you for being persistent with us as well, too. So, it's been very good. Sister Virginia, thank you, too. It's been great to get to know you over these last months as well, too. And it's been an amazing time. And everywhere that we go, that I see sisters, even here today, the smiles that we see that we're bringing with the sisters, know that we're smiling as well, too. So thank you. We appreciate that. One of the things that we always say is there's characteristics of what we call Lasallian education. Referring back to what you have, your 7 pillars, listen to what I'm going to say and see if there's some resonance between the two. One is we instill gospel values. We are animated by and foster a spirit of faith and zeal. We develop and maintain diverse programs meeting recognized standards of excellence. We create and sustain respectful human relationships in community. And we exercise a preferential option for the poor. As Brother Larry indicated, one of the main things that we do is we start all of our meetings with a prayer. Let us remember that we're in the holy presence of God. In most of our Lasallian schools as well, too, there's signs above the door. The first, when you walk in, it says, enter to learn. And when you walk out on the archway, it says, leave to serve. That's one of the things that is a hallmark of education, which is the same thing that you are here, that you're receiving here, too. As Brother indicated and as Sister indicated, we are welcoming you, we are entrusted to you, and know that everything that you've stood for the 98 years will maintain as well, too. We are just bringing our charism to support the charism of the sisters as well, too. Know that, we are committed to the single-sex, all-girls school, and you are very unique. You are the only all-girls school in possibly the entire world that the brothers sponsor. So you are very unique, and we intend to support that and keep that going as well, too. So there's sadness, there's gratitude, but there's a lot of hope. Know that you're truly unique, know that we will continue that, and know that you will be welcomed with us as well, too. Today is about our relationship with the sisters. In the next school year, we'll be doing more for the Lasallian heritage, but right now it's for us to acknowledge the sisters, thanking you for entrusting your school to us, and we will take care of it very well, so thank you. So we are going to present to Sister Donna Marie a copy of Touching the Hearts of Students. It's a characteristic of Lasallian schools. Throughout the course of the next year and moving on, we are going to be using these as our hallmarks about what it means to be a Lasallian school in the resurrection tradition as well. So thank you.
One of the big deal that's going on around the world is our church centenary. We, the brothers, as Sister referenced, have been around for 300 years. Our founder passed away, John Baptist Hillsell, in 1719, and that was his birthday to eternal life. And so this has been a big year for celebrating. So we use the logo 300, one heart, one commitment, one life, one LaSalle. And you will probably, that celebration will go on all the way through 2019. So hopefully this fall, you'll have a chance to celebrate that as well and join, again, ministries from all over the world. So I'd like to present this to Sister Virginia Ann as a way of our province saying thank you to.
We also have a few small tokens that we'd like to give. I'm going to ask Nancy Staknick, who is our chair of the board, and of course Dr. Pivovarsky, our principal, and Gabrielle O'Hever, one of our illustrious seniors, will present those to Brother and to Scott. Now, just so that you have some connectivity also, do not worry. Your faculty that you have now will be here, okay? Your principal, Mr. B, Dr. Pino, will be here, and I will be here, okay? Now, what better way to close than for our school song? So we're going to have our illustrious chamber orchestra and the church